It was October 19th, 2019. And I was sitting in the San Diego Convention Center, much like you guys are sitting here today. And I was waiting. There was one speaker left before the keynote was going to come on stage. It was Russell Brunson, the founder and CEO of ClickFunnels. And at this point, I had been a loan officer for 14 years. And I was funding $200 million a year the hard way. I had 2 little kids at home, and honestly, I was at my breaking point. I sat there, and I had this overwhelming feeling of dad guilt. Now, how many of you guys have mom guilt or dad guilt when you guys work a lot, right? It became crippling to me because I was sacrificing watching my 2 children grow up just so I could chase a dream of being successful. So I said, there's gotta be a better way. There has to be a better way. But that anxiety was consuming me to such a point. I couldn't handle another lunch and learn. I was driving 200 miles in a single day sometimes. And I was so tired of those 7 a.m. coffee meetings with real estate agents who had their hand out for Zillow co-marketing spend and they didn't do any production. And so as I sat there and this anxiety just overwhelmed me, I didn't even realize the next speaker had taken the stage. He had been 15 minutes into his presentation, and it was a man by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk, right? And what he said next changed the entire trajectory of my life. He said, I'm gonna give you guys something today, something that's gonna change your life. But the sad part is, 99.9% of you will never do it. You guys are all focusing on chasing the exact same referral partners when you guys should be choosing to focus on chasing attention. Attention is the currency of business. You can have the best business in the world, but if nobody knows about it, you're gonna fail the same way a business with a terrible service or product will. And it was at that moment, on October 19th, 2019, I said, you know what, I'm done chasing the money. I'm gonna chase attention. I'm gonna find a way to build a better business so I didn't have to sacrifice time with my kids and family. Now, on the way home in my car, I started to recall something that Gary said. And he explained a concept of a super client. And what a super client is this is a client that will give you between 2 and 3 referrals or sales per year. But it takes 500 followers on social media to get 1 super client. So, doing the math, okay, 1 super client gives me 2.5 referrals. If I get 300 super clients, shoot, that's gonna be 750 sales per year. Well, how many followers do I have to get for that? Oh, crap. I gotta get 150,000 followers. So I sat there in my car, and I was really insecure once I said those words out loud. I was just a loan officer in Temecula. What were people going to think when this loan officer was making content about crypto or tax? They're gonna be like, dude, what are you doing? You're a loan officer, bro, in a town that you live in, which is the town that people live in when they can't afford to live in Orange County or San Diego. Not exactly an individual you're gonna really would trust your wealth strategies to, right? But I'm a committed dude. So I drove home, and I've always done one thing in my life. Whenever I have committed to something, I've made a verbal acknowledgement of it to somebody to keep me accountable. Because I don't want to let people down. So I get home, pull in, and I immediately am like, babe. I run into my master bedroom. Guess what? And she looks at me, what? I I'm gonna be an Instagram influencer. She looks at me and is like, are you having a midlife crisis? Babe, you are 37 years old. You're too old to be an influencer, right? Now, looking back on this, I should have done a little better job presenting it, but I reeled her in and I said, hey, I'm so tired of being away from you and the kids. I'm so tired of all these realtor meetings. I can create content, and Gary Vee says one video content can get me 1 million eyeballs in less time and money than I spend on a lunch and learn. And so, like all the crazy ideas before, she supported me. She allowed me to be an influencer. And I started making video content every single day from that day forward. Now, I wish I could tell you that I nailed it, but this was my first video. No joke, I thought I figured it out. I was going to teach people in an 8-minute long video the complex formula on how to calculate if you were gonna have an escrow shortage or not. Yeah, first video. My mom couldn't even finish it all the way through. So why I was committed didn't exactly equal a lot of success. So I spent the next year making 5 videos a day, pushing them out, and I somehow amassed going from 700 followers to 1,000 followers over the course of an entire year. And I realized I have a how problem. I don't know how to do this. And I had read a book. It's who, not how. So I needed to find a who that could solve my problem. So I hired somebody. I spent $14,000 a month for an entire year. Every single week we met, and I learned everything there was to know about creating content. And after that year, working with Mar, I was able to take my 1,000 followers, and at the end of that year, it came out to 15,000 followers. I 15x'd. But it wasn't just the followers that I got, it's where they were located. They were in the states that I was lending in. And I had started creating super clients. Almost on a daily basis, I was having potential clients or real estate agents reaching out to me and saying, hey, Brian, we love your content. Any chance that you could pre-approve my client? Or any chance you could pre-approve me? And I realized at that point, I was onto something. And mind you, at the end of 2020, only about 5% of my income was coming from social media. And by the end of last year, it has now gone up to 60% of my income comes from Instagram. Last year alone, closed $100 million directly off Instagram. We also, too, expanded our mortgage company all across because loan officers were DMing me, being like, dude, I love your content. I want to come work for your company. And the one thing I never accounted for was the opportunities that were going to arise from relationships that I formed on Instagram. So Tarek, who just spoke with you, he and I built our entire friendship over Instagram. He's one of my closest friends now. And he and I now own the fastest growing solar company in the country, where real estate agents and loan officers can refer their clients in and earn commissions on doing their solar deals. And you guys probably recognize this face, Dan Habib from MBS Highway. He reached out to me on Instagram and said, dude, I love your crypto content. The same crypto content I was so insecure about making just 3 years before. And now he and I own Crypto Charged, which I know there's hundreds of you guys in this audience that are members of that today. Now, all of this can seem overwhelming to somebody. But what you have to understand is it follows a simple formula. It's about creating value for your audience around a topic that they want to consume every day. It's not about you, it's about them. And where you all start with is the same place I started. I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'd love to create content, but dude, I don't know what to post. I don't even know what to talk about. I did post for a little while, and I got 11 likes, and 5 are from my mom, and 6 from my wife, right? And so you just don't do it. So I'm gonna teach you guys today real strategies that you can actually implement, showing you exactly what to do to create engaging content that your target audience will want to consume on a daily basis and remove all of the creativity. Because we're loan officers, we're not artists, we're not creative people, just who we are. So I have found a way to create consistent content every single day that people want to engage with as a non-creative person. Now, this formula is going to teach you guys how to create super clients on social media. Super clients that'll give you referrals 2 to 3 times per year. And it all starts and is broken down into 3 phases. The first is the decide phase. This is where you guys are going to make that commitment to stop chasing dollars and start chasing attention. And decide to create content around a content pillar outside of mortgage. And then I'm going to show you guys how to discover, how to create an endless supply of video topics that your target audience wants to consume, all done by Chatgpt and AI. And then I'm going to show you guys how to take those topics off Chatgpt and search for videos that have already gone viral and be able to recreate that without even having to write your own scripts. So it all starts with deciding. Now the decision has to be made that you're gonna make the commitment to shoot content and put yourself out there. Because if you don't, you're going to die with your business. It will not survive. Because it is no longer money is the currency of business. It is attention. And you think about it, attention is the same as money. We earn it like money, we spend it like money, and when we lose it like money, we go out of business. And it's a simple formula, really. No attention equals no revenue. No revenue equals no business. And I have a little important thing you guys really need to understand is the way in which the world conducts business today is not just, oh, let me go ask my next door neighbor who they did their loan for. No. What they do is they interact and consume content, and people build that local celebrity status, and then they want to work with them. And once you've made that commitment to start focusing on attention, now you got to come up with a content pillar. And newsflash, mortgage content is freaking boring. It's terribly boring. Do you know who consumes mortgage content? You. And you know who else? Your competitors. And then the homeowner, once every 5 years, when they decide they need to buy or refi, for like maybe 2 to 3 hours, and then they don't ever want to look at it again. So everybody creates mortgage content and expects to build these entire audiences, yet you're making content for you to put money in your pocket rather than creating content that value that your audience wants to consume. So I use a 2-pillar approach. 10% of the content I create is around mortgage. 90% is around my other content pillar, which is how to increase your net worth. Why? Because people like money, and they want to have money, and they want to consume it on a daily basis. And now this goes against pretty much what every single mortgage marketing expert is going to tell you. Now, this guy on the screen, Ed Mylett, I had the chance to share a stage with him about 6 months ago. Tell you, this is probably my favorite human on the planet when it comes to creating content. Now, Ed Mylett made his entire fortune off of retirement planning and life insurance through the World Financial Group. Now, for all of you guys that consume his content, how often does Ed Mylett talk about insurance sales or retirement planning on his podcast? Never, right? Never. And why not? Because Ed understands that his audience wants to consume content that will help them become better entrepreneurs and better individuals. And he does not make content about him. It's about giving value to his audience. And he also understands about the law of reciprocity. They say, wow, Ed's a really smart businessman. He's got real authority in this space. He must be a great financial planner and insurance salesman is too. Right? And that's why he does it that way. And now, when it comes to creating a content pillar, you got to think about who your target audience is. So, if your target audience in your market is millennial first-time homebuyers, a great content pillar is investing for beginners. If you're in more of an upper-end market and you're typically seeing upper middle-class families, tax strategies, advanced investing, those are fantastic content pillars. Now, I had a really hard time coming up with my content pillar about 4 years ago. By a show of hands, how many of you guys had a hard time kind of coming up with content outside of mortgage? Right? A lot of you. Now, I'm going to give you guys an exercise, a really easy exercise to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to take out your phone and you're going to text 3 friends and you're going to say, hey, I'm at a Tony Robbins, because you can't say my name, they don't know who I am. And the speaker just asked me to write one of my close friends and ask, when would I be one of your first phone calls if you needed advice on a topic outside of mortgage? Because the people that are closest to you will have insight into you that you won't be able to determine yourself. I never thought I would be the person that would be teaching financial concepts. I just didn't think it. But that's what all my friends told me, and that's what they always ask me for advice on. So once you've identified your content pillar, now we get to the fun stuff. We need to discover what topics within your content pillar that people actually want to learn about. And the thing is you can have a great content pillar, but if you make videos of topics that nobody cares about, you're just wasting your time. And it's so important to understand this. This is what I live by right here. Because people fail that do this. They focus on generating money for themselves rather than providing value to the audience. It's not about you. It's about them. And what you can do, thanks to the amazing power of Chatgpt. How many of you guys out here love Chatgpt? Right? Seriously, the greatest thing ever. Now, the brilliant part about Chatgpt is it's your worst friend, or your best friend, or your worst enemy. And it's all based on the prompts that you use. So I'm going to give you this prompt. So all you need to know is 1, who's my target audience? 2, what's my content pillar? Then Chatgpt does the work. So let's watch it. So in this case, I say, hey, Chatgpt, create me 25 video topics that a millennial, my target audience, wants to learn about on Instagram about how to increase their net worth. Chatgpt is a giant data aggregator. It knows what videos are being watched, who's watching the videos. So all I do is enter that in and watch. Chatgpt is going to do the work. Gives me 25 video topics. I don't have to guess what a millennial is currently consuming around my content pillar. Tells me. So now I'm just going to pick one out. Remember budgeting 101. Just put that in the back of your mind. Because now I've shown you guys, 1, why it's important to create and crave attention. 2, stop making a boring mortgage content. Start creating content that your audience wants to consume. It's not about you, it's about them. Then take that content pillar and write this prompt and Chatgpt will spit out unlimited video topics. And now, it's time to go to my favorite part, how to deliver videos with the best chance of going viral. Now, I have worked on this part for the last 2 years, and finally, in February of this year, I actually figured it out. I have created a 5-step framework, and this 5-step framework has exploded my content. Now, unfortunately, I only get to share 2 of the 5 steps with you today because I'm not Tony Robbins and I don't get you guys for 2.5 hours. But I'm gonna show you guys later on how to get the other steps for free, so don't worry about that, I'll show you in a minute. So I wanna show you guys, as soon as I did this and figured out this 5-step formula in February, watch what happened to my account in the last 90 days. My account reach has went up 2,000%. My accounts engaged have gone up 2,000%, and my follower count has went from 50,000 to almost 130,000 in 90 days. Okay? That's the beauty about what I'm showing you. I can't lie about this. It's right there. You can go look it up for yourself on my handle. Now, what I figured out was the ability on how to find videos within my content pillar that have the best chance of going viral. Because what I always made the mistake before is I made content and it was derived from my ego. Honestly, I just wanted to show everybody that I was a really smart kid, even though I grew up in a small town. My dad was a forklift driver, and I just wanted to show the world how smart I was. And what did it do? It gave me that stupid YouTube video of teaching you a complex topic about creating an impound account that nobody watched. And as soon as I surrendered my ego and I started creating content that my audience wanted to consume, it blew up. Because value equals viral. And what I'm gonna show you is gonna blow your minds away on how simple it is. So remember I told you guys to remember that budgeting 101. Chatgpt gave it to us. It said, hey, make a video about budgeting 101. Millennials love to watch it on Instagram. So all I'm doing is I'm going to TikTok. Now, why do I use TikTok? Because TikTok's search feature is 1,000 times better than Instagram, and trends break first on TikTok. All I'm going to do is enter budget 101 in the search field of TikTok. And all I'm going to do is look for videos that have over 50,000 views. Why? Because my target audience has already spoken. They like whatever that content is of that video. 50,000 people have already loved it. And all I'm gonna do is find a video like this one that has 200,000 views, and I'm gonna recreate it and put my own words and little twist on it. That's it. So what I'm gonna do is, now once I found that video, I'm gonna go ahead and click on the little arrow at the bottom of that screen, and I'm gonna save it. It's gonna copy the URL. And once I copy that URL, I'm gonna post it to my iPhone notes, which is my video hit list. It's all, okay? And all I'm gonna do is recreate that video in my own words using a very specific formula that I'm gonna show you next. So I literally just got one item from ChatGPT, plugged it into TikTok, found a video that somebody else created that people like, saved it, and I'm gonna recreate it. Now, I'm gonna teach you guys how to write your script out. Because I realize we're loan officers, and if we start putting a lot of creativity and stuff or a lot of friction, we just don't do it. So every single video that goes viral follows this exact 4-part of their script. Number 1, you got a hook. Number 2, you have an emotional trigger. Number 3, a quick win. And number 4, a call to action. So let's do it together for that video we just saved. So with our hook, this is the most important part. You got 3 seconds to get somebody's attention. Now, here's what I see a lot of real estate agents do. Hi, I'm Brian Decker. Welcome to 123 Main Street. Let's go look at the home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not a hook. Here's a hook. Hey, I bet you can't afford this house. That's a hook. See the difference? Big time. Newsflash, nobody cares about you. Who cares? If they want to know your name, they'll look at your Instagram profile name. Okay? I did it. I know. I'm making fun of myself too. So all we're doing is we're taking the video and we're literally just listening to the video. What is it telling me? Here's the best way to save $20,000 in a single year. That's the hook. Where'd I get it? I took it from the video. Then you go to an emotional trigger, right? Using that video example, you can't afford this house, right? Well, the next thing I would say is, well, I know affordability is a major issue right now, but I'm gonna show you, right? You soften the blow. You make that personal connection. So in this case, saving $20,000 in a year, right? Hey, I know things are hard right now, but with financial discipline and breaking down your savings goals into bite-sized parts, you can do it. Emotional trigger. Number 3, quick win. There should be a one simple actionable item, not 14 bullet points. Here, you want to save $20,000 in a year? How many times do you get paid in a year? Oh, you get paid weekly? 52 weeks. $20,000 divided by 52 weeks is $385 per pay period saved. That was the content in the video that got 210,000 views. Then we go to a call to action. A call to action is not, hey, send me your mortgage statement for a refi. That's about you, it's about them. So, hey, if you want to hit $20,000 this year, make sure to like and follow for more financial tips. That's a call to action. You're telling them what they will receive if they follow you. Now, as I promised you guys, there's 5 steps of this process. I could only go over the first 2 today. But the remaining 3 steps is using a teleprompter app so you do not have to try to one take every single video. Then using Chatgpt to create your hashtags, your description, and your caption. Then using Facebook to film those ads. So I'm gonna do a free webinar for all of you guys. So take out your phones, turn on your cameras, hold it up like you're at a U2 concert and scan that code, because I'm gonna give you the rest of that for free. Now, and I'll put it back up in at the end. Now, I taught you guys today about the 90-10 rule. 90% of your content pillar, 10% on mortgage. Then I showed you guys, once you get your content pillar, go to Chatgpt, have it create 25 video topics for you. Then you're gonna go and just search it and find videos that people have already made about those topics, save them and recreate those videos. Then listen to the video and fill out the 4 parts of the video. Now, who here has gotten some value today? All right, I love to hear that. Because when I started creating content, I realized I found a passion in teaching. I love it. And that all started 30 years ago. I remember I was driving with my parents. I was 10 years old. I was an awkward 10-year-old. We pulled up into my coach's house for the end of the year baseball swim party. And I looked at his house and I was like, holy crap, my coach is rich. Wow. So we got out of the car and I ran up to the door. And Coach Wiggins and his wife were standing there. A bunch of kids in the backyard swimming and playing. Welcomed us in. Hey, Brian, how are you? And it was at that moment, he lit this like fire inside me that like, I want to be successful. I want to have this. I want to be respected. Because he wasn't like this rich snob. No, my coach was literally the best coach I've ever had. He literally took the time, I remember every single practice, and he would say this quote, kids, if you want to be successful, hard work will always overcome talent And if you learn new things and strategies every day, you will be unbelievably successful. And he planted a dream in me when I was just 10 years old. Now, fast forward 30 years later, it was several weeks ago, and I was standing in my front yard, and kids and their parents were driving up my driveway. Kids I coached every single Tuesday and every single Thursday for the entire flag football season. Something I absolutely never had time to do when I was doing business the old way. And one of the kids on my football team comes running in from the backyard. He's like, "Coach, coach, coach." I'm like, "What's up, Hudson?" He's like, "I can't believe your house, coach. This is so cool." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, bud." And he's like, "Hey, guess what, man?" I'm like, "What, Hudson?" He's like, "So my mom just told me that when I'm in high school, if I watch your videos on Instagram and don't play video games, I can get a house like this too." And so I laughed and I was like, and then literally in the back of my mind, I had this deja vu moment. And I was like, Hudson, if you work hard, you can overcome anything with hard work. And if you learn new things every day, kid, you're gonna be so successful, you can buy any house you want. My coach planted a dream in me 30 years ago. And my goal today was to plant a dream in you guys. A dream for you to step up and step out in your business and make an impact in your community. Thank you, and thank you so much for your time.